Nowhere on Earth, not even a tropical rainforest, packs in biodiversity as densely as a healthy coral reef. Some lucky people have experienced the prodigious profusion of colours, shapes and textures for themselves, diving amongst coral. The rest of us can get a taste of reef diversity at the Natural History Museum, which is putting on London's biggest corals show, featuring more than 200 exhibits from its vast collections. And there's also a living mini reef with a dazzling display of multicoloured fish and other marine organisms. The economic value of coral reefs is enormous, estimated at $375 billion, covering coastal protection, tourism and recreation, fisheries, science and education. But many reefs are in poor health.
There's a whole range of threats. Some are global in scope. For example, global warming creates warmer waters in the ocean, which can kill coral reefs. Ocean acidification is when CO2 gets into the water and changes the chemistry, making it more difficult for corals to grow. But then there's more local threats, so fishing off local reefs, or when materials come in from the land to the sea and damage the coral reefs.
The Natural History Museum has a powerful educational purpose in putting on the exhibition, which is subtitled Secret Cities of the Sea. We got in behind the scenes to see the show being put together before its opening in late March.
We did some research and we found out that most people didn't even know that corals were alive. They thought they were just rocks sitting on the bottom of the ocean. And of course they're living animals that build skeletons and create those rocks that build up and make the coral reefs. So we felt it was time, especially considering the number of threats which are having impacts on coral reefs around the world, to really show people what coral reefs are and how beautiful and amazing these ecosystems are.
The museum's curators look after a huge collection of corals and other preserved marine specimens from which to select the exhibits.
The way we put the show together was looking for specimens behind the scenes, in particular at one of our off-site storage centres, which has a vast array of corals and sea fans, literally over 22,000 specimens in that store. And I picked this large red Gorgonian sea fan, but within the exhibition itself there will be lots of other large material that actually hasn't been shown for many decades. They were collected over 100 years ago, and we wouldn't be collecting material in the way that they did then, but it's really important to have this material because it provides a baseline data for current research that is happening in those reef areas today.
In contrast to the museum's preserved specimens, most of which have lost their original vibrant colours, a highlight of the exhibition is the living mini reef.
The colour of the corals actually comes from a relationship with an algae that lives inside the coral, and it's the algae that's giving the coral that colour.
It's been put together by the Horniman Museum in southeast London, whose aquarium is a world leader in coral propagation.
There's two broad differences. We have a soft coral here, but then next to it is a hard coral, and the hard corals are the corals that lay down a calcium carbonate skeleton, and they build the coral reef. Corals are a bit like plants in the fact that you can propagate them, and you do that by breaking a piece off, what's called the mother colony, and then we can glue it onto a new rock, and it will grow into a new coral. They form lots of different growth structures, from branching forms to plating forms, and that allows a whole myriad of niches to exist, which allows this massive diversity of life to occur on coral reefs.
The other part of the exhibition that shows living coral reefs is the Sea View Survey, which the insurance company Catlin launched in 2012.
We understand from the scientists that things are changing. They're not looking bright for coral reefs for various reasons. But I think from our point of view, what we're trying to do is to create a baseline data set of coral reef health around the world. That's key to be able to monitor the reefs into the future. The way that we're doing it is using new technology, so we're digitizing all these images. That allows us to monitor those reefs way out into the future.
Research has shown that if we take care of the local impacts, such as moving the sewage outflow somewhere else or allowing the fisheries to recover, then there's a better chance that the coral reefs will be resistant to the more global impacts. So this gives us hope that if we take care of the local reefs and at the same time take care of the global impacts, we can keep reefs alive in most places.
In an exhibition that runs from Charles Darwin's coral collection here right through to modern digital mapping, one feels amazed by the beauty and diversity of the world's coral reefs. And also, you feel worried about their future in the face of environmental change like global warming and ocean acidification. But the 400 million year fossil record of corals in our oceans suggests that they may be more resilient to global challenges than we expect. Clive Cookson, Financial Times, London.